What is up, everyone? Michael Damon here with the latest episode of Starbeam.one, Stand Up and Shine. And Shill. Oh, wait. And Shill. It's kind of a secret. This is a secret part. It's a series I put together to keep people up to date with my project Starbeam.one, and it doesn't really kind of feel like my project anymore. We got a lot more people than me involved now. It's a kind of a community effort now, and this series talks about updates and what's going on. It's modeled after the agile methodology of stand-ups, where you tell your teammates what you're working on, what you are going to be working on, and any sort of friction points that you're encountering. And what we've added here is so much more. Let's begin. Oof, okay, so like last time, I think it was Alpha 2 that I was announcing, and things were pretty hectic. Things are still pretty crazy right now, but now we're working on Alpha 3, and that is next on the docket. So now we have launched Alpha 2, and we are working on Alpha 3 features, and that is going to be April 4th. So that is in 1 month. I'm trying to be a little bit more disciplined about alpha releases, and so the next one is going to be on April 4th, and that's going to be Alpha 3, and its focus is quality. So these next 4 weeks, I've got these features that have just been sitting out there, and we really need to get these done before moving on and incorporating any new other features, and also just onboarding people, because there's things like support, and we'll talk about what they are. But that's going to be the focus, and quality, and just getting things fixed and any sort of outstanding major issues, and to get that underway and addressed. And so the other thing, kind of be aware of, no major announcement yet, but we are looking at having a contest here at the end of the month. So I kind of want to get that out there, and in the next episode, I should have a little bit more details for you. Dashboard. This is the shilling part of the program where I walk you through the pertinent stats of the application, and you can get to this. Anyone can get to it. You don't even have to be logged in. Hit the hamburger menu up here, and you scroll down. This is the menu. Just scroll down to the dashboard here and click dashboard. It'll take you to this page. Again, you'll have to be logged in, and it shows you all of the major statistics, and you can see we've been doing some work on this, and surfacing the most important stats up front. And we have over 100 users now, over 125 actually, so 126 users. And then we've got our artists climbing up to 50, our collectors 64. Nice round number there, bitwise number, as it's called. I believe it is. That's the technical term of it. But we also have our 24-hour volume here, which is not looking too good at the moment, but it's something that we wanted to surface because NFT collectives use this number. It's sort of like, what is the 24-hour volume? And we've been scoring like 25, 35, once we even hit over 100. And that, it turns out, if you do 25 or 30, you're actually doing better than 30%, or excuse me, doing better than over 50% of the NFT collectors that are out there. So it's kind of a cool brag to have that, and that's what I've been kind of doing. Is when that happens, I send out a little tweet, and because every NFT collective is identified and they have a Twitter account listed there, and so I just take their Twitter handle and I tag it, and I said, hey, we did better than you. So it's sort of a way of making friends, as you can say. And so I'm doing that now. The 24-hour volume, you can see that. We've got our 7-day volume, so you can still see that we're still doing pretty good here. We've got over 125 there, 133.06 for the 7-day volume, and we're getting close to that 1,500 all-time sale. It was like 1,000, I think it was, I want to say a month ago, wasn't it? Or was that 2 weeks ago? Man, it's just all blurring together, but we're getting close here. We're getting some momentum. So we're scrolling down, total sales over 2,000 now, and putting the average sale amount, and then also the average gratuity. And so I put this up here to kind of to showcase this, but I might not make this a showcase number because we're getting new members, and they're not really as using this figure as much as the first members that we had, so it's declining, and so it's sort of like, I'm not sure we're going to put that there, but we will make it accessible, because I'm interested in it, right? Because it's definitely a number. The more gratuity that we have, that's the more we can pay our bills, so it's sort of an important number. All right, so scrolling down here to connections, over 100 a day, and the big number here is 6,000 for the past month, right? Remember when this was 4,000 and then went to 5,000? That was a big deal. Now we're at 6,000. I hate bragging about it because it can always go down. So that can happen at any time. Users, we've got, we're averaging 1 per day, essentially. And we're a little bit below that right now, but 1 per day is still pretty good. So we've got 126 total, and breakdown of all of our different authenticators. Google and Twitter still remain, but look at Reddit, right? Reddit's kind of climbing up there as well. We're getting a lot of Reddit users and artists and publishers that are using the system, which is fun to watch. Okay, so now going to production licenses. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I broke this down into the different categories. And so there are 3,000 total licenses, and nearly 500 of them have been recalled or destroyed. And so there's 26 100 of them that are active and out there in the marketplace. All right, so from there, we'll go into the inventory. So one of the sections I introduced here is how much of our inventory is actually sold and available. So all time right now, we've sold 76% of our inventory, which is pretty good. And if someone had $1,000, they can go through and buy every single license that's available on our marketplace right now, on all our marketplaces, which I would consider a pretty good investment, even though I'm trying to stay away from investment terminology. That is what this is for all of our, this is under 3,000 licenses. So if we issue a lot more than that, so talk about millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, the first 5,000 that we have here are going to be worth something. So that's kind of what I'm having here to kind of keep track how many are issued, how many remain. So for today, we've got 16. There's certain. So we had how many do we have? So we had 22. We had 22 that were issued, and then 27 of those were sold, and so there's 16 remaining. And if you had $30, you could buy all of them. So that's how that works. I kind of find that a really interesting statistic. And then finally, with the markets here, breaking down the markets. Okay, how many sales were in each market? What was the average price for them, and what was the total? So that's all here now. You can see and you can visit our standard the markets here by clicking on this link here. And featured and traditional are kind of struggling right now, and the sales are kind of down right now. We haven't really been promoting or marketing as much as we'd like. I think the contests that we have planned are going to help out. But look at the standard market, right? We're still getting a lot of traction on the standard market, and that's doing really well as well. So you can take a look at that if you'd like. Accounting. So this is taking less of a focus, but it's still here. You can see all the accounting numbers, and the important number here is we want to make sure it says 0, and it does. So this is really shaping up, and I'm really, really happy with this. So one last thing I want to do here with our shilling. So I'm going to go up here. This is also a publicly accessible section, and this is our license explorer. So now you can view every single license that was ever issued on starbeam.one, and you can see who issued it, and if it's still available. And eventually we're going to have it so that you can purchase from people and make bids. So if something is, you can see the state of it, and we have a little cropping problem there that has not showed up until now. So you'll have to pardon that for a live demo here, but this will take you to the details. I'll probably just get rid of that column and make this, because everyone just gravitates to the pretty pictures. They click on the pretty pictures. So yeah, so you can see all the licenses that have been generated, and browse that, and you could do searches with our grid up here and browse each and every license, starting from 1 to over 3,000 now. So if we want to go to the very first license ever issued, you can go here, and that'll take you here to the very first page, and you can see who owns that, right? So you can see the current owner, and what we will eventually do, is allow it so that you can make bids and make an offer on sold licenses, and people can accept them or deny them. So that's going to be in Alpha 4, I believe. Having difficulty keeping track of my alphas. That's actually, the bids are going to be Alpha 3. That's going to be one of the very first features I work on, because it just adds so much value, right? And how did I phrase it the other day? It maximizes efficiency, market efficiency, right? So maybe someone doesn't want to pay that price, but they'll make an offer, and you'll get a sale there that you didn't have before. So it's very important, very high value. We're probably going to focus on the very first thing. And I hate talking about future features because things keep sliding, right? And it's just, I've been working on this announcement bot and getting the announcement, didn't even get to it. Now it's just getting to the point where things are sliding, and I'm just going to focus on the important features first and foremost. But getting back to what I did, SQL performance was a huge story. Just making sure that the attacks or the utilization of our SQL server was down to a minimum, and just identifying a different queries for that and getting those down. We got them almost all done, and I'm just waiting for a really major surge here with sales to kind of get a better idea of where we're sitting with that. But at the end of the day, our typical utilization, and this is on the lowest end of the Azure spectrum here, is like 20-25%. So it's really not all that high. I'm just kind of freaking out, like, what if we get a lot of traffic, sort of thing. So maybe I shouldn't be so focused on that, but I'm just kind of, preparing while I'm here, while I'm in the zone to take care of that and deal with that. So I'm kind of mostly satisfied with that, and I'll move on to these other features here. We'll talk about in the next slide. But the other, kind of finishing off the slide, just so many little things, right? I was focusing on one thing, then something else pops up, and I got to focus on that and fix that. And it's just all these little things. So there's just a lot of different things, and then SQL. Okay, so what am I doing now? We got our spreadsheet here. I've been doing project management on an Excel spreadsheet for over 3 years now, and it's treated me really well. But you can see here in the little print, I got that SQL performance here. That's all done. And now really kind of focused on circuit persistence, right? So this has been something that's been going on for over 6 months now, that we've known, that we've identified, where artists will be typing in something and then they'll alt tab away, or they'll step away and then they'll come back and everything they typed is gone. And that really is unacceptable. And I should have fixed this a long time ago. And so that's going to be a priority now. That's kind of the next thing on the schedule here, on the next task to focus on. Then there's the email policy to ensure that everyone has an email. And this is really important this is why I don't want to really make a huge marketing push right now, because if someone signs up, it could be anyone, right? We don't have a way of connecting our support system to the email that's in the, well, we do, but they need to have an email there, but we don't require an email in our system. So once we require an email, then we can successfully connect up our support system, and I'll feel a lot better about supporting tickets, because right now someone opens up a ticket, it's like, well, I have no way of really verifying who you are, and that puts me in a really awkward position. So we'll get that done. And then account management. And so this is with account merging. So we have another problem where, again, I just don't want to make a big push here with this, because I just feel like this is going to happen a lot, where someone will sign in with Twitter and then it'll be a couple of days, or it'll actually be a lot longer than that. I think the cookie for Twitter lasts for a couple of weeks, but it'll be longer than a few weeks, and then they'll come back, then they forget which the cookie's forgotten, and they forget which provider they logged in with, which is Twitter, but then they'll log in with a Google, and then congratulations, now you have 2 accounts. And so we want to simplify that workflow. We're simplifying our authentication by far, by miles, with our OAuth 2, which solves a lot of problems, but it introduces this one minor problem with getting these accounts double made, and there's a few of them out there, and we want to get those solved. So that what we're going to do is going to make it so that you can merge, and so that's going to be a focus. And then we'll finally get back to the announcements. This is getting back into like features. So then we can start marketing again, getting the announcement back together. And then there's also CMS administration, application adjustments. And then finally, there's this referral program. And I'll talk about that a little bit more once we get closer. Friction points. Okay, so these are actually looking a little bit better. So when I start getting a good feeling about some of these friction points, I'll put a question mark next to them, and that is looking like the case for Razor Performance, which has been awesome to see over there on the GitHub thread there with Mr. David Wengier, rhymes with engineer, we're talking about the Razor. They're having really good conversations there, and they have a pull request, and they've got work. You can actually see where they're working, and it's really great to see that. And kind of the one thing that happened with me personally is I took my development environment and I made it so that I added more memory to it. So there's a lot more memory, and the way that I had my memory configured in Hyper-V, I use Hyper-V to segment all my workstations, and the way that I was using memory was dynamic, so it was kind of growing. It started out at a lower value, and then it would grow, and that's actually not as performant as just assigning a block of memory, and that's what I did. I assigned a block of memory, a large block at 32 gigs, and it will grow up to 40 gigs, and that works a little bit better, and I'm not churning as so much. I got a little bit more breathing room for hopefully another fix that will help me out here. So that's looking a lot better, and who knows? I don't know how long that's going to take, but there's a GitHub thread, and I'm watching and monitoring, and we can see that, we can view it. It's awesome. Okay, so Azure, there's been some movement there. Finally, this has been over 6 months now of during this error that happens after deployments, and we have a workaround, and I'm going to be looking into that, and also they're looking at some auditing information I just sent them, so that's great. And then finally there's the Resharper Blazor, and I'm probably just going to ping this each and every time, but that's still there. But it's it's maybe not be as big of a deal because it happens after installing a new EAP, and if I don't do that, then it doesn't happen. But it's still one of those things that's been around for 2 years, so it's kind of a pain. All right, moving right along here. Last time was 30 minutes. I'm trying to keep this to about 15. I'm kind of failing already. We'll probably make it more of a 20. All right, so effectiveness level. Morale kind of taking a ding here. You saw the 24-hour volume. It's not that bad, but still, I feel like I'm just focused on fixing bugs, and I'm feeling, I don't want to say hog-tied, but I'm feeling kind of constrained by that. So it was 8.5, and I'm down to an 8 for this. Technology is still 7.5. It's not spectacular, but it's not awful either. Marketing continues to be a churn. It's the thing is we're starting to get users from Twitter. So I don't know if they're seeing our tweets or what it is, but people are seeing something and they're showing up from Twitter, and it's just nice to see them hop on, create an account, publish something, and get a sale like boom, 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 and that's actually working. And I've actually stopped shilling so much. I've stopped tweeting so much, and we're getting users in spite of it. So secret. Okay, and finally with support, feeling really good with this. Every time there's support, I really just judge myself by, like, if I find myself getting impatient with people asking questions and it hasn't happened yet, I might get tested just a little bit, just a teeny tiny little bit, but it's nothing that's like I'm going to rage flip on the person that's asking me questions, right? So that's a great sign, right? Like that's where you want to be. You don't want to get impatient because that's a really bad sign. But there are people that ask really good questions and they ask a lot of them. And so I'm really appreciative of that. And they're really happy with the support I'm providing. All right, there we are. Okay, make this a 17 and a half. Couldn't make it 15, couldn't make it 20. We'll make it a 17 and a half. I updated the hashtags here because no one's using Stand Up and Shine and Stand Up and Shill. We're all using starbeam.one and SB1, and that is prevalent out there with all of our artists. Thank you so much out there for using those hashtags and for being a Starbeam.one artist and for producing such great content and being a part of our community. I just really appreciate everyone's involvement out there, and thank you to everyone for all the artists and also to all the collectors that we have. When you do collect it, it means so much. You're the other end of the cycle there, and we really need collectors as much as we need artists, and just really thank everyone. What we're building here is just really tremendous and very special. So with that, I just wanted to thank you, and until next time, stay bright out there and stay safe. Goodbye.